Hey guys, for a long time I've been known as that guy who often goes against the consensus. Many super popular JRPGs out there that I just don't love. But what about the ones that I actually do? Today then, I'll show you 10 JRPGs everybody seems to love, including me. So let's begin. Number 10, The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero and Trails to Azure. I see this as one game simply cut into two parts, released separately. It was actually released almost 13 years ago for the PSP, later ported to PC, and even though both parts got a fan translation for a long time, fact is most gamers never even knew about them. Even long before the recent worldwide remaster of Part 1, Trails from Zero, they were already very beloved. Dare I say, this arc is the most popular among the entire Trails series. I wish I could say everybody loves Sky or Cold Steel, but I have seen many quitters along the way. Everybody loves Sky Chapter 2, of course. It's very rare to see someone who doesn't, but most have mixed feelings about Chapter 1, sadly. A similar story goes on about the Cold Steel arc. Zero and Azure, however, are that one game that nearly everybody can agree is excellent. 2 volumes following the story of a special police group into all sorts of investigations that include several mature themes. Maybe that's why. I still prefer the Sky trilogy or even some of the Cold Steel parts, but I just can't deny that I'm a huge fan of this little duology as well. Can't wait for Trails to Azure's remaster coming soon. Number 9, Final Fantasy VII. Yes, this game is so overrated, it's gotten to the point where not everybody loves it anymore, so maybe it shouldn't even be in this video, but overrated or not, I can't deny that it has a special place in my heart, and alongside other jewels like Chrono Cross or Final Fantasy IX, it was responsible for educating the JRPG addict you're hearing right now. Truth of the matter is that I was gonna pick Final Fantasy IX for this video, since it's the one from the PS1 era that everyone seems to agree it's pretty solid, but no one can deny 7 was much more popular, sold way more, introduced millions of gamers to RPGs, and influenced the heck out of many titles out there. Sure, it's outdated nowadays, and its remake changed everything completely. It turned out to be its own brand new game. A proper truthful remake will never happen now, but at least we can look back to the past and remember the fond memories we had with Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith, or Aerith, or whatever, and remember those tragic plot twists that have even become a funny meme nowadays. Number 8, Persona 5. Persona 4 is the one game in the series everybody loves and I don't. Well, I kinda do, I really enjoyed it, but I've always preferred 3. Yeah, the one everybody loved back then and now everybody seems to hate. 5 is like Trails from Zero. It's that one game that's barely criticized and most fans of the series can agree it's excellent. It is, and it's also one of the longest RPGs I've played in my life. Almost 80 hours just for the main story alone. That was crazy. But you know what? Those were almost 80 hours very well spent that I will never ever forget. I had a blast with Persona 5 like the majority of people that have played it. Then along came Royal and added way more content than before. I'm happy loving the vanilla version of the game responsible for throwing both Atlus and the series into a huge worldwide success. Number 7, Tales of Vesperia. If there's one Tales most fans can agree with it's awesome, that'll be Vesperia. I'll be honest, it's not one of my 5 favorite Tales games nowadays, but pretty damn close. I still love it and have finished it twice on the 360, on to finishing its remaster one day. I believe a lot of people love this Tales game because it's challenging, it's got great combat and very memorable characters. Though I will also think Yuri, the main character, has a lot to do with its popularity. It's undeniable he's one of the most interesting characters across the series, a guy who's completely free and isn't bound by classic teenage morals we've seen in many entries or even other JRPGs. Plus a badass dog called Repeat is one of your party members, so there's that too. You can't go wrong with this game no matter what. Even if you don't end up loving it, you'll most likely find some enjoyment out of it. I also think it's one of the best tales for beginners, but also veterans if you try the hard mode. Boy, is it brutal. Number 6. NieR Automata. As a big fan of the first game in this newly established series, I couldn't wait to check out Automata. Everybody, and I mean everybody, was singing praises about it back in 2017 when it came out. Sure, it had some flaws, but the grand majority of comments were very positive. Almost to the point it started sounding overrated to me without even having played it. When I finally did late in 2018, my fears disappeared entirely. Once I started, I couldn't put the controller down anymore until I beat it and got nearly every single one of its endings. Android A2 quickly became my favorite character in the game, so of course her ending is the very first one I got. And I will never deny I greatly enjoyed the fan service, despite being one of the first things I criticized about the game in my review. I don't know you, but it's obviously one of the reasons it got so popular. But if it didn't have that awesome combat with excellent controls and that dark, tragic and psychological story, not even its sexiness could have saved it. This game is very popular for all the right reasons. Number 5. Final Fantasy VI. Of course, another Final Fantasy will make it to the list. 6 is perhaps even more praised nowadays than 7 or 9. A true classic on the SNES, ported and remastered a gazillion times already. I finished one of its lesser applauded ports, which is the PS1 version, but even there, with its increased encounter rate and balanced shenanigans, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with Solis, I fell in love with the soundtrack, I fell in love with its combat. I think this is a masterpiece and definitely one of the best in the series. Its only downfall is that it might not have the best development for every single character, but some of them grow a lot on you and you just build a bond with them anyways. It also has a couple of really unexpected plot twists, real dramatic and some very emotional, the type that are hard to find in modern Final Fantasy games. It's no wonder this game is so popular and adored. It truly is an excellent RPG that survived the test of time. Number 4. Valkyria Chronicles. I'll be tragically honest, it's hard to find strategy RPGs that are worldwide beloved out there. It's a genre tons of people stay away from, whether they respect it or not. It's sad. Strategy RPGs, however, are starting to make a comeback in this day and age, so hopefully more gamers will start getting into them. Across the world, titles such as Final Fantasy Tactics or maybe Fire Emblem VII are highly regarded. The first Valkyria Chronicles is one of them, a game that's even considered as one of the best video games ever made of its generation. It's weird because its gameplay mechanics take a while to be learned, its complexity can later turn a lot of people off, but it really holds your hand at the start and teaches you the basics so you can go off on your own from there. There's nothing convoluted and instead offers you a variety of characters, equipment and battle mechanics. Plus, it's got a stellar cast with a mature-oriented story that throws most JRPG cliches out the window. From the beautiful graphics to its soundtrack to its addictive gameplay and challenging missions, Valkyria Chronicles sure is a masterpiece that got every area right in strategy gaming. Number 3. Dragon Quest XI. For the longest time, I wasn't a fan of Dragon Quest. I started with 8, then 4, then the very first one, and then 7, and I never finished any of them. I still became a fan of 8, but you could tell from my other videos that I wasn't too big on the series. Along came 11 and far surpassed my expectations, blew me away, and turned me into a fan. Since then, I've slowly started getting into previous entries and I can't wait for the next one. I just hope it remains turn-based. I think one of the reasons why this game was a massive success is precisely because it remained true to its genre. It didn't go hack and slash like Final Fantasy did. Besides, it was quite friendly for beginners with excellent pacing. Not to crap on previous entries, but a lot of them were really slow, charming yet boring during the first hours. Not 11 in my opinion, and I think most people can agree with that. This is a masterpiece too, everything was done right, a consensus was negatively formed on the original soundtrack, but you know what? I really enjoyed it despite its alleged flaws. Koichi Sugiyama's music will never die. Number 2 is VIII, Lacrimosa of Dana. Well, I have seen a few deflectors from this game, but they are in the minority. Don't worry, if you are, I know what that's like. Not with this masterpiece though, sorry. I have a long history with the Ys games, I never liked the first ones I tried. It wasn't until 7 on the PSP that I became a big fan. Many years will pass before the next mainline game will arrive at our doorstep. I first played it on the Vita, the very first video game I tried right after getting the console in 2018. 2 hours later I was addicted to it and I couldn't stop headbanging to that Sunshine Coastline theme. I also thought the idea of getting adult and a bunch of characters stranded on a desert yet mysterious island, while overused, it just worked marvels for an action RPG. I loved every bit in this game, recruited all castaways, did a few side quests, and enjoyed the combat a lot, one of the best in the series. But I also believe one good reason for this game being so popular and beloved is Dana. Never before had we seen adults sharing the spotlight with another protagonist. That was awesome and Dana did not disappoint one bit. Greatly written character. Number 1, Suikoden II. This is another JRPG that makes it hard to dislike. It has a couple of annoying things like missable characters or a glitch that may lead to the bad ending, BS shenanigans that could piss you off if you go in blind. But it's also a highly rewarding game with a terrific story, tragic moments and emotional situations that deeply connect with fans. It also has a very funny translation. Despite its flaws, people absolutely love it and have been praising it over the years. Good reasons are behind this, like its battle mechanics greatly improved over its predecessor, the fact that it aged really well, or its legendary soundtrack still very enjoyable nowadays. This is one of those masterpieces that make you forgive every single nuance you can find. A wonderful adventure with great pacing and balance. It's got both easy and hard battles, but nothing that can poorly reflect on the player. Nearly everything about it is quite memorable as it still holds up, featuring on many lists of the best JRPGs of all time. Honorable mentions, Super Mario RPG for instance, Fantasy Star 4, the best on the Genesis, and Ephemeral Fantasia on PS2. Everybody loves that one, right? Right? Plenty more stupidly popular JRPGs out there that I love as well, but I think these 10 will suffice to prove my point. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time!